Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I am 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐈, and this is the Crypto and Cognac podcast show, as always, coming to you live every Thursday evening, 7 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time, right here on YouTube. As always, I got my yak, and we are talking crypto. But before I jump into it, before I forget and have to say it down in the end, let me say it right now. Some house cleaning. This is not a financial advisory podcast. We do not give financial advice here, right? It's all about the ICE rule. The same way we drink the yak is the same way we take our crypto. It's all about information, conversation, and education. The ICE rule. Today is episode number 4, season 5 of the Crypto and Cognac podcast. A lot of things are happening in the crypto space as per usual, but today we are talking about things happening in the Far East, right? The adoption of crypto in areas of Asia is what we're talking about, specifically the approval of Bitcoin and Ether spot ETFs in Hong Kong. It's a go now. A few things, right? We have to touch. I'm going to jump, I guess, back and forth because I'm going to be freestyling this, right? A few things. So Hong Kong is following the US in terms of its approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF. However, there have been a lot of discussions about, is it too late? Has all the money already flowed into the US based Bitcoin ETFs? But I have a particular view on that, which I'm going to jump into in a short. But where Hong Kong has a first mover advantage is that they are one of the first places on earth to approve an Ethereum spot ETF, right? The US has not yet. I think there's one in Canada. Correct me if you guys know better, jump in the comments and let me know. But in terms of that first mover advantage in major financial territories, they are going to have a first mover advantage as it relates to a spot Ether ETF. So is that going to balance things out? We have to wait and see. Now, this is happening in Hong Kong, right? Which is right next door to mainland China, where we have been constantly told there is a clear ban on crypto, right? So how is that being allowed? How is mainland China allowing Hong Kong to approve a spot Bitcoin ETF, which is going to allow for greater participation? Can people on the mainland participate in these Hong Kong-based spot ETFs? The easy and short answer is N to the O, right? But we have some more things, as I've been digging, preparing for this particular episode, I've been coming across things, and it seems that even the idea that crypto is outright banned in mainland China seems to have been greatly overstated by us in the West, right? Now, there have been some significant bans on crypto and crypto-related activities and crypto-related business in China, right? So crypto exchanges are not really allowed to operate. They're not really allowed to serve citizens of mainland China. Bitcoin mining is banned in China. But one of the things that I kept coming onto is that in addition to what is stated in the laws, just as important is what is not stated in the laws, right? And there seems to not be any ban on citizens of mainland China holding cryptocurrency, custodying cryptocurrency. There seems to be no ban on peer-to-peer trading of cryptocurrencies. And there seems to be a statement about the protection that exists, right? So it clearly states that cryptocurrencies aren't, or virtual assets aren't in any way to be considered akin to fiat. So they are not legal tender. And because of that, any issues an individual might run into while transacting in or participating in that space is not protected by law. So any civil or criminal recourse that you may have treating with fiat or fraud as it relates to fiat is not present to you while trading in or treating with cryptocurrency. So it feels like the government has gone as far as allowing people to operate on their own accord, but saying, you know what, if you choose to participate, we've done as much as we can to protect you. If you choose to operate, bro, you're on your own, right? Now, all that to say that I think that still leaves a very active market that at any moment can be opened up to these Hong Kong based spot Bitcoin and Ether ETFs. And I think that was done deliberately. And I think that they are using the experience in the Hong Kong situation to test what I think they're going to ultimately roll out in mainland China, right? So we're going to test it. Let me see if it works. Let me see what kind of drama it causes. And we're going to take the learnings from Hong Kong and we're going to implement it. That is my personal view. Now, nobody from China tell me that, right? Nobody hit me up, yo, Walumunati, ni hao, what up? No, I have no contacts there, especially not in the government. But that is my perspective, right? Now, similarly, I have a perspective as it relates to the potential demand for Hong Kong's Bitcoin spot ETF as compared to what is available in the US. And I haven't heard anybody really talk about it or mention this perspective, but it is mine. I think the recent decision, the recent bill that was signed by President Biden banning TikTok is going to make a lot of business people who previously would have run into the US market to participate wary of doing so. We already saw the fallout from Russia's invasion of Ukraine and how Russian citizens were impacted by the global sanctions, how Russian businessmen were affected by those sanctions. And now we are seeing what is happening with TikTok, where TikTok is being forced to sell if they do not want to be banned in the US. I think more and more business people, businesses, individuals are going to become a lot more wary of their participation in the US economic environment because they don't know at what time, at any time of day, when what they've built might be taken away from them, seized, when they might be forced out. And I think the whole world outside of North America and maybe Europe, the global north, are looking at all these things and thinking, and I think we talked about this before, the activities around the BRICS union, I think is indicative of that. And I think this is just going to be another thing. So I think we are going to see a lot more demand for these Hong Kong based spot ETFs than we possibly might have imagined, right? And I can see this really jump starting the real bull run, because now we've gotten the halving out of the way. It is now twice as difficult for miners to earn an income from their Bitcoin mining. So what it means basically is that just from one day to the next, they now need Bitcoin to be twice as expensive to make the same level of revenues that they were making, the day before the halving. So I think all of this, the demand that is going to come from this new Asian spot Bitcoin ETF, this fallout with the signing of this bill around TikTok, I think all of this is going to create a perfect storm for Bitcoin demand to explode. And again, not financial advice. And if demand explodes with what we are seeing is a reduction in production of supply, that usually results in price movement to the positive, right? Now, of course, we've been in this space for a while. We know it doesn't just go straight up. It doesn't work like that. We have corrections after corrections. It goes, but traditionally over time, we have seen Bitcoin go up. What we are seeing too is a lot of people, we're seeing the Japanese yen being affected, their economic power being eroded. We have not really seen a massive flight from their economy to safe haven assets like gold and Bitcoin. I think that is coming. I think the US election coming in the next few months, as it heats up, we are going to see people panic and look for safeguard opportunities. But I think the greater level of insecurity and fear is going to come from those people outside of the Americas who traditionally have sought refuge in the US economic system. I think those people are going to be looking for places to park their wealth. And I think that is where we're going to see a huge boom, especially in volume for these Hong Kong based ETFs. We know that so far, I think 2 companies have gotten approval. And one key point I think that needs to be made here, and how it might affect the broader crypto market, is that unlike in the US, where you have to use US dollars to buy Bitcoin ETFs, Bitcoin spot ETFs, Hong Kong allows for the use of crypto or the use of alternate currencies to purchase ETFs. So what that means is that a lot of people who may be holding other tokens might now have the opportunity to participate and off ramp from their altcoins into a more safe, a more regulated instrument like a Bitcoin spot ETF that is under the supervision of the SFC, the equivalent of the SEC in Hong Kong. So I am very, very intrigued. I think this is a huge step because another major territory, another major economic hub is opening up its doors to allow for both individuals and institutions to participate in this very, very scarce asset class, this new monetary policy system that people can count on, that people can, trust, especially as we see trust in not only economic systems but political systems being eroded globally. We are seeing all the protests around the world as more and more citizens, more and more communities, more and more countries, more and more individuals become discontent with their leadership and take to the streets to represent that discontent. I think we are at a pivotal time in history. I think generations to come are going to look back at this time in our human experience and mark it as a period of drastic change, not only in terms of political systems, but in terms of economic systems. I don't think that our experience of capitalism is sustainable. And I think we're going to see that shift. I don't think our system of democracy as it stands in most Western countries that leads to a two-party system, a two-party alternative that usually leads to a better of two evils type of scenario is sustainable. So I think we are up for a lot of change. I mean, 4 or 5 years ago when I was getting back into crypto, and people were saying that Bitcoin is going to change the world and Bitcoin is going to lead the way to the changes in the world, I couldn't see it. But now I see it. Now I see how that ability to self-custody an asset that allows for you to protect your wealth against inflation, against government spending, against money printing, against poor economic policy, against censorship, both of your views, how important that is becoming more and more with each passing day. I see it. I mean, it's burning so bright, and I think more and more people every day wake up to the reality that what we understood as being freedom, what we understood as being democracy, what we understood as being fairness, what we understood as being humanity has since been eroded from under us. And I say all of that just to get back to the point that I think that with this new avenue for players outside of America, especially in the East, I think this is going to be a huge deal as far as adoption. You all know I believe it to my core. Adoption is inevitable. And I mean, 4 years ago, I didn't believe that this soon we would see spot Bitcoin ETFs in the US, spot Bitcoin ETFs in Asia, Ethereum spot ETFs in Asia, Ethereum spot ETFs certainly coming in the US. It's crazy to think how quickly things happened. And I don't even think the speed of change the snowball has really hit the mountain yet. I think what is to come is unlike anything that we could predict. I certainly can't predict. So guys, gird your loins. Gird your loins. Go get the information, seek out the information. It costs you nothing to learn, to understand, to see or not see the value, but at least do so from a point of understanding, do so from a point of information, do so from a point of access to data. Don't wait for somebody to spoon feed you. There are too many people who are looking for shortcuts. Go find the information. It is out there. Don't be making no dumb decisions. Don't be betting the farm on a crypto meme token, not even Bitcoin, because you never know. Don't invest more than you could afford to lose. Do your own research. I mean, all the cliches, they exist for a reason, right? Don't invest your rent money. Don't take a loan to buy. Yo, make smart decisions. Assess. Do listen to me. Do listen to your brother. Do listen to your cousin, right? Assess your situation based on your risk tolerance, based on your goals, based on your time horizon for your money. But now is the time. It's happening all over the world, right? The global north, the global south, the world is changing like we've never seen before. They are also trying to silence us. The ban on TikTok being aligned at the same time with the support for major wars all across the world, major conflicts all across the world, is telling guys, protect yourself. As my boy Brady always says, time to build a raft. Right? That's all I had to say. Shout out to everybody who showed up as always. Like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Please, we need it for the algo to work in our favor. What's I will say? Cheers. Adoption is inevitable. Illuminati out. Be blessed.